Welcome in, everyone, to episode 41 of the Memes, Dreams, 32 Teams podcast. We are back with our final division review. We are cutting it super close. We are a week and 2 days from the start of the NFL season, finally. But I'm Justin,
Finally, I'm Eddie.
and
We're excited.
football's here. Preseason's over. 53-man rosters were decided on today, and a lot has happened, but also not a lot has happened at the same time. You know, no disrespect, a lot of the players are getting cut, but some of them are no names, right?
Majority of them are no names, and the majority of them that are cut will find jobs elsewhere in NFL.
Like practice squads. People will get injured throughout the season. They'll make the rosters. Jobs will come and go. That's the nature of the NFL.
But it's still got to suck.
Yeah.
Period.
But like we do start every episode, we talk about the news and updates between our last episode to this one. We just have a couple things. The biggest one to me is Cam Newton getting cut from the Patriots. Obviously that means Mac Jones is a starter, but what are your thoughts?
We figured that Cam Newton would start for a little bit if he started, and then Mac Jones would take over before the end of the season. I did not see him getting cut. There's no reason why they should cut Cam Newton, I don't think.
It
But it's weird. It's odd that they cut him instead of just bench him.
The downside to this is that cutting Cam Newton this close to this season most likely does not land him a starting position somewhere.
And maybe that was part of plan. Take him out of the league for a couple weeks at least.
It's that part just like irks me because I get that Mac Jones has excelled during preseason and he's gotten better, but if this was going to be your end goal, you should have just gotten rid of Newton from the beginning, right?
And if I'm not wrong, yes, that, but they only have
And they also cut
one.
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, so now they only have Jared Stidham, who is currently on the PUP list.
The goal is to bring back Brian Hoyer. There's a weird way with rosters and people going on PUP and this and that people are actually getting cut who are going to get put back on the rosters as long as they don't get claimed by someone else.
Yeah.
So like we'll see. I think the unfortunate side is Cam Newton does not start in the NFL for
Not week one for the first time.
I would say
since,
at least a few weeks.
Yeah.
Where do you think he ends up then? Because he's going to go as a backup.
I mean, that's like you just said. It's hard to say he has a chance to go here or here because everyone's comfortable with their starter right now. We're 9 days out from week one. For most teams, just over 2 weeks out from their first game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the Saints. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go back to the Panthers. This is not soon, but by the end of the season.
I did see PFF, Pro Football Focus, tweeted that potentially he could end up in a Cowboys jersey, which I wouldn't be mad and I wouldn't be
As
shocked.
a backup?
Yeah. He's basically like him and Dak are very similar, to be honest. Like they might be the most similar quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like Russell Wilson is similar, like is like them, but the build is
Dak He's a little bit smaller than Dak.
Yeah, Dak and Cam are pretty similar. So they wouldn't have to change the offense much. Right, if Dak were to get injured again.
Yeah.
Which would
Colts
break
or
my
Texans?
Heart. True. I mean, if Deshaun Watson, the whole legal case goes through and he's not in the league anymore, gets suspended, whatever, they'll have Tyrod Taylor, but I would rather have Cam Newton.
I would much rather have Cam.
There's a lot of teams that honestly I would rather have Cam Newton, but with him getting cut 9 days before the season, it's
like the Broncos aren't going to say, "All right, thanks Bridgewater, but you're out." You're out.
Yeah, like it's too close. Unfortunately,
it's interesting though. It's just weird. Of all the quarterbacks, if you take all the first and second string quarterbacks in the league, he would have probably on the very bottom of the list over like the guaranteed starters.
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think he would have been cut. If I had a cut list and had to make the first and second string quarterbacks from every team in the league, he would probably be around like, if we're cutting for sure number one, not cutting number 64, he's probably at like number 40.
I don't know, man. It's just weird. The Patriots are putting a lot of faith in Mac Jones, and
He's the guy that they drafted first round. Like I've said before, I don't see any reason why you would not have faith in your first round quarterback draft pick if you're going to go spend that much on him.
the downside is, you've said this multiple times, is Alabama quarterbacks do not do well in the NFL.
So I say that, and I stick to that still. And we'll see that week one this season, pretty much the whole season, because now we have Mac Jones, Tua, and Jalen Hurts all starting.
As of right now, out of those three, Tua is the only one that I think has a real chance of staying in the league.
Yeah,
like,
I don't see.
The thing with Mac Jones is I don't know.
Not with their current play style.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
And we haven't seen enough of Mac Jones.
Jalen Hurts, this was news. He was named the starter in Philadelphia. No shock. He was going to get named the starter. It's Hurts, Minshew, and Flacco in that locker room, and I would honestly start Minshew over both of the other two.
Yeah, Flacco's not going to start unless isn't going to play unless he absolutely has to.
Having Flacco in the locker room is probably great. It probably taught Hurts a lot of things,
for sure.
But I don't know. Mac Jones, I don't think he plays well this season. I think preseason's overhyped. There was a stat that came out, and it was like, I think it was QB rating in preseason since like early 2000s, and the only quarterback I think higher than Mac Jones was Patrick Mahomes in his rookie season, and I'm like, whoa.
You're telling me the guy that nobody has tape on playing against second and third strings is excelling?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to do well, personally. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's going to do well either, but it's his first season as the full starter. We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
The Jets did trade their tight end Herndon to the Vikings for a 6th-round pick. They got a 4th. What did they get back? They got a 4th, and they had to send Herndon and a 6th. So I don't know. Some of the Jets fans on Twitter did not agree with my take, but hey, that's the nature of what we do. So hopefully Herndon can make it work in Minnesota. Their starting tight end Irv Smith Jr. Is injured. He's getting knee surgery, so he will be out for some time. So that's why they went and traded for Herndon. Speaking of injuries, J.K. Dobbins is out for the season, has an ACL tear and possibly other ligament damage, which sucks because
That's terrible.
I thought he was going to have a really good season.
Bad.
So that's a rough one. Speaking of Vikings,
you haven't drafted your fantasy teams. J.K. Dobbins is like, I want to say close to 25th overall or something. He's like a top 5 to 10 wide receiver or running back.
If he's still listed there, I'm sure it's updated now. But
whenever we did our draft, he was. That news came out like an hour prior to, so he was there. And your dad took him.
Yeah, well, yeah. Speaking of the Vikings, Harrison Smith, the safety, did get a 4-year, $64 million extension with 26 guaranteed. So,
which is the one that you called should be getting
when Jamal Adams got his contract. I called Harrison Smith. So I mean, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm kind of a genius.
He's good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. And now he's getting paid like it.
Yeah. So, and the last thing we have is the Saints will not be playing out of New Orleans for right now, the foreseeable future. I think we should say, right?
Yeah.
Like, our thoughts with everyone who's being affected by Hurricane
Ida.
Ida? Is that how you say it?
Ida. Ida.
So we hope everyone's staying safe. But yeah, the Saints will not be playing from New Orleans for right now. They'll be playing in Dallas, except I saw today there was one of their games conflicts with a concert. So they will have to apparently the concert will still happen, so they have to find a different stadium to play out of. And
Every team in the nation is going to offer up their stadium, including colleges. Like that's not going to be hard
yeah,
to find a new stadium.
so we'll see what happens with the Saints. I'm sure the Saints fans, I'm sure they'll travel well, so it'll feel like a home game.
Yeah. Yeah, Saints fans seem to travel well no matter what, so I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, so that does it though for all the news that we felt like should be talked about. Again, it's cut day. Everyone, I mean, rosters were
There's
getting trimmed, and
plenty of
yeah.
people out there if you want to look into it, but
So that will do that. But we'll jump straight into the NFC West, our final division, and we will start with the wonderful San Francisco 49ers. And they, like you told me earlier, they may be running a 2 QB system.
which will be. I don't think we've ever seen a legit two QB system. Why is that hard to say? I don't think we've seen a legit two quarterback system in the NFL work.
I
I
mean,
can't think of anybody else who's actually tried to run it for more than like a possession.
how how would you how do you work it? Is it like one guy gets one half, the other gets the other half, or is it like we flip quarters, or
The way that they do it in college is you could play if it's a 12 play drive,
Mhm.
one will take 8, one will take 4, or one will take 6 and 6. They will
Interesting?
literally trade it out every play if every 1 to 3 plays. They could do every possession, they could do every set of downs, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see them do everything from first down is Trey Lance, second down is Garoppolo, third down is Trey Lance, first down is Garoppolo, second down is Trey Lance, and then Trey Lance runs it for a little bit because whatever he's doing is working. He throws 2 or 3 incomplete passes, they switch out.
I don't know, man. It's
I
I
mean, right now with Trey Lance, we've said this multiple times. He's North Dakota State, he's a D2. I don't have much faith in D2 quarterbacks, period,
but do you have faith
in
in
the NFL.
Garoppolo?
And I don't have much faith in Garoppolo. So
I think
they're
this.
both like solid backups.
I think they need to give Lance like full
A
reign.
chance.
Just give him full reign. If he
Yeah.
doesn't get it together, you have Garoppolo, who
Yes.
is serviceable. Garoppolo has had glimpses of promise, but then a lot of glimpses, gosh, of just like despair for his
Has he
career.
had since he's been in San Francisco, has he done anything amazing
I mean, they were in the Super Bowl,
with Garoppolo?
yeah, against the Chiefs.
Why am I blanking on that?
Was it not the
The year
Chiefs?
that the Chiefs won. It would have had to been the year the Chiefs won.
I don't remember what Super Bowl that was. Super Bowl
I'm
LIV, live. Yeah,
live, laugh, love.
yeah, they won 31-20.
Why am I just blanking that Garoppolo was in a
Garoppolo
Super
went
Bowl?
20 for 31, 219, a TD, and 2 picks.
I mean, that's above average for when you're playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Why
That was a Super Bowl that Deebo Samuel has the longest rush by a wide receiver in a Super Bowl.
that got me there. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It was like a 52-yard rush or something. So,
Okay, so they made a Super Bowl. That's pretty serviceable.
but I mean, their defense was something else that season.
Was that Bosa's rookie season? Not Bosa.
I mean, Nick Bosa was on the roster.
Okay, then it was Bosa.
I mean, like looking at this roster, like I don't
2019.
know how many people are still on it, but like Jimmy Ward, Fred Warner, DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, Eric Armstead, D Ford, Quan Alexander.
Do remember
That's
this
a wide receiver.
season.
Why is he there? So like
Okay,
their
I do
defense
remember this.
was a different beast.
They
So
went 13-3 in the regular season.
yeah.
Okay,
So
I do remember this because the Falcons beat them week 15 in a game we should not have won. and I was over at somebody's house who I'd never met before that night, and that was their first. My first impression to them was me watching that Falcons game.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, they invited me over again, so we're good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good stuff. Them bringing in Alex Mack. Oh man, we cannot talk today.
it's a struggle right
The
now.
49ers bringing in Alex Mack is a great pickup. Got through
I don't
it.
know if he's got 3 years left in him because he's definitely up there.
Yeah.
But it's him and Shanahan reuniting because he originally
Hmm.
brought Alex Mack to the Falcons
True.
our Super Bowl year.
So, I mean, he's a great center. Probably
Oh, he's amazing.
one of the best in the league, I'd say. I mean, they still have left tackle Trent Williams, who is definitely, I would say, a top 5. We've talked about them before. Their roster is
So good.
absolutely stacked across the board.
So good.
Like, their defense is still stacked, to be honest. It's all over the
Armstead,
place.
Bosa,
They
Fred Warner.
They still have D Ford, too. Like, this team is stacked. It's just, it seems weird to say this because we're 2 years out from that Super Bowl. But Garoppolo needs to pick it up. And if Trey Lance plays, he needs to be stellar.
They need a quarterback to emerge. One of the two, doesn't matter which at this point.
The thing with this team is they don't need to, in my opinion, based on their roster, they need a Tannehill type quarterback.
Yes.
They need someone to come in. I know people hate the term game manager quarterback, but they need someone like that. They don't need a Patrick Mahomes type guy. They just need someone who their defense will keep them in games.
Yeah.
And they just need a quarterback who can extend drives and put points on the board. Pretty simple.
Yeah, if they can do consistent 6 to 12-minute drives, which I know that's a big range, but if they can do consistent 6-minute drives and get minimum 3 points every time they're out there, their defense will take care of the rest.
Yep.
And with their offense, Raheem Mostert, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, they should have no problem putting up more than 3 a possession.
Yeah, they have talented players across their offense. So, like, they probably have a top 3 to 5 wide receiver trio in Samuel, Ayuk, Sanu.
Yes.
Right? And then a lot of people have been talking about Jalen Hurts, who is a rookie from, or I say a rookie, he's a third year guy who apparently has never played an NFL game still. But apparently they're really high on him. So having him as a 4th option is really good. But then you still have George Kittle, and then you still have Kyle Juszczyk, and you still have Raheem Mostert. And then people are high on the rookie Trey Sermon. So, like,
really high on Trey Sermon.
This team should be scoring points, right? Like,
you would hope so, yes.
There's no doubt in my mind that this team should be averaging 24 easy, I would say. Again.
I mean, that's scoring on 4 possessions, and their defense will give them more than 4 possessions.
And sometimes short field positions. So, like, this team, that's right. To me, I think we love quarterbacks. We talk about them all the time on this podcast. But that is their weak point, in my opinion, is quarterback. Yeah, they have some points like on the offensive line, maybe a couple spots, or like on the defensive line. But if I had to look at the 49ers and you asked me what is their weakest point, I would immediately tell you quarterback.
Yeah. And I I agree with you. They should give Trey Lance a chance, and I hope he proves me wrong and changes my stance on D2 quarterbacks. Because Carson Wentz was starting to, but now he's hurt all the time, and whenever he's healthy, he's average at best.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully, Trey Lance has learned from Carson Wentz's experience and can do something. Because up until Carson Wentz got hurt, he was MVP. He was spectacular.
Yeah.
But ever since then, he's scared, and rightfully so. I mean, look who he's up against. So I hope Trey Lance can come in and perform and excel and change my mind, but it doesn't sound like the 49ers are going to give him that chance just yet.
I agree. So let's look at their schedule, because they have some tough games.
They have some tough games, but they have some easy games.
Here's this is the problem with this entire episode. You're going to hear us say this a lot. The NFC West is stacked. It's difficult. It's
a gauntlet.
It's a gauntlet. Like, there's so many things that we can say about this division that
Just all of them.
I don't want to give anyone more than 4 wins in the division.
I don't think anyone will get more than 4 wins in the division. I think whoever does get 4 wins the division, and there's 3 teams that could do that.
I mean, I think all 4
there's 4 teams that could do that.
Honestly, I think any of these teams could go 6-0 in the division. Could.
Yeah, but
They
that same
won't.
exact team could also go 0-6 in the division because the rest of the division.
Yeah, so let's take a look though. This is where they need to start Trey Lance, because look at week 1, week 2. They go to Detroit, then they go to Philly. 2 games
See
that
if he can do it.
Trey Lance can come in and
get settled in, stretch his legs, get comfortable, and then come home against Green Bay and Seattle
and Arizona.
And yeah, you get to test it.
You know, honestly, this team's schedule, man. Detroit, Philly, awesome. Like, those are good games, favorable. Green Bay, Seattle, Arizona. So Green Bay, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is going to carry that team. Then you play division opponent and Russell Wilson, the Seahawks. You know, then you go to Kyler Murray in Arizona. Then you get a bye week.
A bye week's so early for them.
Then they go to play the Colts, who, if, fingers crossed, you brought him up, Carson Wentz, if he's healthy, should be in form by week 7. So that's going to be a tough one. Then you play Chicago, who hopefully has Justin Fields playing. But if not, I mean...
If not, it's Andy Dalton. It's still not easy. And the defense of Chicago. So.
Okay, I just like glance through it. I'm going to give you over under 17 games.
Yeah.
9.5. That one I was good at. I got that one down.
I'm gonna go under as little under as I can.
You're gonna go 9.
I'm going 9. If I can go more than 9, but not 9.5.
It's hard with this division because all of them, we're gonna come in here and be like, oh, the whole division's gonna get. They're all gonna be over 500. They're all gonna be 9-8 at worst.
The thing with exactly. But the thing with this division, for me at least, is all 4 of these teams have been in a Super Bowl in the last 10 years. All 4 of these teams are still great. So how are you going to tell me one of these teams isn't going to make playoffs? It happens every year, of course, because that's the nature of the beast. But all 4 of these teams could go 14-3. But we've also seen all of these teams have those 3-14 seasons in the last 10 years.
It's 12 years for Arizona.
Sorry.
Exact. I was curious, so I wanted to.
That when they came into the league, or they did the realignment?
I don't know. But that was when they lost to Pittsburgh.
Oh, that was their last Super. Okay. That was 12 years ago?
12 years ago, 2009.
That was Kurt Warner, wasn't it? The end of Kurt Warner's career.
That's a good question. I've got no idea. We're going to double check that real quick. Yes, it was. He threw 3 touchdowns and interception and lost. Now, that's heartbreaking. Anyway.
That sucks. Anyway. Yeah, this whole division, we're going to obviously get to the rest of it here. But yeah, 9 wins, give or take, 7 is what I give this team. They're so good on paper. It's just a matter of actually doing it.
That's the problem, right? Is I want to give them 11. I so badly want to give them 11. But I'm just nervous that they just do not get it together this season. Someone in this division has to be bad, right? And by bad means just worse than the other 3.
Bad as in, yeah.
I'm going to actually go under, and I'm going to say that they underperform, and they go 7.
Wow. Is that solely because of their quarterback situation? Or is there something else?
It's mostly that, but sometimes when teams look too good on paper, it doesn't really add up always. And I just, something seems off with this team. with me. Like I feel like everyone else in the division is trending in like up, and they are the same or going down.
Yeah, now that you said game management thing, the game manager, field manager, however you said it. Yeah, if they had that, I think they win the division, but I don't see them winning the division without their defense not having to know, all right, we get our water break, get your 60 seconds, and we're back out there.
And like we've said before many times, if either of these quarterbacks come in and they lead this team to 14 wins,
Mm,
hats off. We were
so
wrong.
be it.
Awesome.
I would love to see it.
But when they
Of
win
all
7 games, I want you to come back, look me square in my eyes, and tell me I was right.
of all the teams in this division, I'm kind of glad we started the 49ers because they are, in my eyes, the underdog of this division.
I disagree that they're the underdog because I think the Cardinals are the underdog of this division.
Okay.
But we'll obviously talk about them
Yeah.
at some point on today's
Very
episode.
soon.
But you give them 9 wins, I give them 7. The thing is, like, this team on paper could end up with 14,
Yes.
or they could end up with 4. Right? Like they have a
There's
really
wide
large
range.
swing.
That's why I said, I jokingly give or take 6 games or whatever I said, but it's very true.
But we will jump to a team that only had 3 draft picks, and a team that has a
Just,
wonderful game manager in Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks.
I say it's so weird to see a team with 3 draft picks, but they really didn't need much to begin with.
No, the Seahawks, I feel like they're sort of in the same boat. They started. I don't want to say that they're in the same boat. I would say on offense, they were in the same boat for a little bit. They were just like basically letting Russell Wilson carry everyone
Yeah.
and let their offense. Like they didn't really do. This is why they had the I would say one of the greatest defenses of all time. Right?
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Right? So they obviously knew how to build a good defense, and then Russell Wilson just carried them on the offensive side.
Yeah.
But I mean now, like DK Metcalf, he's
That's a man.
I don't think like saying that he's a man like gives him enough credit. He's
so good.
he is terrifying. I mean, we saw when he sprinted down the field and caught Buda Baker from Arizona. So
Yeah.
and
And what's crazy for DK Metcalf specifically is I watched him as a Mississippi State fan. He graduated from Ole Miss. I watched him all the time. And he was insanely good in college, and he's just gotten better since he's been in the NFL.
do you remember when no one wanted to draft him because of his 3-cone time?
Because his 3-cone time was like a second over the average or something like
3-cone
that.
time.
It was slow compared to the other 20 top picks that were being thrown around.
So the fastest 3-cone time that has been recorded was in 2018, and it was 6.28 seconds. DK Metcalf had a 7.38, which is a full 1.1 seconds over. Which you're like, yeah, it doesn't seem much. But in a drill that requires you to cut and be quick, a full second, like that's, as a wide receiver, that's separation.
Yeah.
You give Tyreek Hill 1 second,
he's burning you every play if he gets 1 second.
So, I mean, hats off to Metcalf for basically shutting everyone up.
I mean, he's fast. I guess he's not fast on cutting if we're going to go off of that. He's gotten better since then, but go off of his combine as a baseline. He's fast and he's strong. He doesn't need to cut.
Correct.
He will literally jump up and fight 3 guys for the ball and come down with it 9 out of 10 times.
Pretty much. The nice thing about DK getting like into form is that it allows Tyler Lockett to sit into a number 2/slot role because Tyler Lockett's great. He's probably one of the most like fun wide receivers I've ever watched.
Yes, and it does give him this chance to not, I guess, expand. I don't really think that's the right word, but really just be himself and do what he wants to do on the field and get open and have fun. Essentially, that's what all these guys are out here to do anyway. But a lot of guys don't have the opportunity just to go out there and play football like you're in the backyard.
Yep.
Ty Lockett has that opportunity this year.
He had it last year. I mean,
He had it last
he
year
played
too,
well,
but
and now it's just Metcalf keeps getting better, which is going to help Lockett get better. It's going to help Russell Wilson be better. It This offense is trending in the right direction. The problem with this offense that I think they have not had since beast mode is they haven't had a consistent run game though.
I love Chris Carson, but he's not a consistent 80-yard a game
It's because he's
rusher.
been injured.
Yeah,
Every season, I draft him every year in fantasy, except for this year. I'm not doing it, which means he's probably going to rush for like 1,800.
yeah.
But every season, I'm like, I'm going to get Chris Carson, right? It's his year. Injured,
He's got his moments.
benched, not playing.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the weak point of this offense is definitely the running back. It's a team that we're not harping on the quarterback. We did it.
What is there to say about Russell Wilson? Not much. He's damn good.
You want a game manager? Done. You want a guy who will come back and win you the game? Done. You want a guy who will win you a Super Bowl? Done. Any questions?
Moving on.
Yeah,
Their defense, you touched on the Legion of Boom earlier. It's still a good defense, but it's not Legion of Boom defense. It's not even close.
No. It's definitely not close. They're starting to get a couple of the right pieces. I mean, like Carlos Dunlap, Bobby Wagner's still there, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs. It's heading sort of back in the right direction, but they definitely need help.
I
on
mean,
defense.
I would probably give them the top 10 defense in the league off on paper. Top 10 defense in the league, but they are number 10.
The nice thing about this team, though, is that Pete Carroll and that staff has understood how to make a defense work. So now it's just teaching those guys that are in the locker room how to do that job. Right?
Do you think part of their problem on defense is they literally say, okay, we lost Richard Sherman. We're going to get this guy and expect him to be Richard Sherman?
I would say that is a problem, but also like a benefit, right? Like
Yeah.
the way I see it is if you're a coach and you've never coached a team that's been successful, you don't know what makes a team successful.
Right.
But when you have someone like Pete Carroll who has coached offense and defense that has been successful, in a sense, you plug and play, right? With quotes, because it's not really how it works. But you basically say like, oh, you guys think you want to play, man coverage like this, but if you actually play it like this, it makes you better. Boom. Learn that from being successful with Richard Sherman. We apply it here, it makes this guy better. Now it's just down to players executing, right? Like they understand how to make a defense work. Now it's just on these guys to do it. Which is why the Seattle defense has been, like, even though they lost people, has been a top 10 defense, like you said.
Yeah. But it's still pale in comparison. And we can go ahead and say this, just about every defense you can say in all of history is going to be pale in comparison to Legion of Boom. Almost every defense.
Yep.
So the only reason we keep comparing them to Legion of Boom is because that was the Seahawks 6 years ago. Not very long ago. And ever since then, it's just been kind of a very subtle decline for them.
I mean, in 2014, they won the Super Bowl 43-8. So
I don't know what more there is to say about that. Their defense was good.
Yeah.
And that was Dan Quinn, I think, actually.
That I do not know.
I think it was. Maybe not, but I think it was.
But I think that's what the Seahawks benefit from, is just understanding how to make good teams and now just needing players. Right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
They know it works.
Like an Adam Gase situation where like he's just not successful. So it doesn't matter what players you give him, he's just not going to win.
Yeah.
So
pretty
like
much.
having a Pete Carroll type guy with his let me chew gum in the weirdest way.
All mouth and molars.
That guy's he's a legend. We'll put it that way. But
But I feel like he's been head coach for longer
a
than he has
while,
been.
probably.
He's only been there since 2010.
That okay. I was gonna say like 2007, 2008. So
I was thinking he was there longer than that. But yeah, before that he was USC. Before that he was Patriots.
oh, I forgot he was at the Patriots. Well, let's take a look
Yes.
at the Seahawks schedule. Oh man, some tough games. I mean, obviously the division. They got Tennessee. They
So
have
are they playing? I didn't even pay attention to this on
they play the
the
NFC North
and the AFC South.
yes,
No. Yes.
yeah.
So yes, that gives them Tennessee and the Colts every or the for the season.
Yeah. So I mean, they play Detroit, which is a positive. They play Minnesota, which I think is a positive.
I mean, it's the same thing that pretty much that we said about the 49ers roster, just different team, obviously. But their only easy, like, all right, yeah, they win that game is Detroit, Houston, maybe
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
No, I think they.
I think they should,
I
but
don't.
I don't know what Trevor Lawrence is going
I
to
don't
do week
trust
8.
Trevor Lawrence.
I don't either, but I'm hoping the best. Other than that, the rest of their games are going to be
The
they're
thing.
going to have to perform.
The thing is with the Seahawks versus the 49ers. So I'll put them against. Let's see, like who's a mutual team? The Tech. Like let's say the Colts, right? I would say it's almost 50-50 49ers Colts.
Mhm.
But then you take the Seahawks, and I think it shifts 65-35 Seahawks. So it's
The
like
Seahawks are the better team,
a lot of those
but the game's
games,
still aren't.
a lot of the games that the 49ers are like iffy on, the Seahawks will almost be considered like winners for the game from us. Like
Yeah.
they'll be favorites, but we'll be like, yeah, they're gonna win that game. Like Pittsburgh, I think they're gonna win. San Francisco should beat Pittsburgh, but I don't know. So
All right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I mean, the Seahawks are the better team. Yes.
they just shift the odds because they're just a better team. Like they having Russell Wilson gives them like plus 10 on the
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
So Seattle, let's do. Hmm. Hmm. Oh God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
My first count looking through was like
11.
14.
11.
It's not.
Okay,
It's not my number.
I was like, wow. I was gonna say over under 11 and a half.
I was thinking 12
That's where I have them.
because, like you said, Detroit, Jacksonville, Houston, the Colts, they should beat all 4 of them. Minnesota.
Seattle and Green Bay is always it's always a shootout, and they're in
Always
Green
a great
Bay.
game.
Obviously you play LA
Washington,
twice. Washington is an underdog. They play Tennessee.
Bears, San Francisco twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 12. I'm gonna say 12 for this team.
What's the if they exceed your expectations, the high number, and what's the low number?
Like a range for this team.
Yeah, I'm saying
I see
15
them.
to 10.
I was gonna say I think they win at least 10. Like I don't see them
Yeah,
having less than 10 wins. 15. I was gonna say 14. I think 10 to 14 is their range, and I think they sit right in the middle at 12.
yeah.
So yeah, that's our wonderful.
I'm just gonna look back really quick because I'm curious.
Mhm.
But when is the last time the Seahawks had a losing season? I'm gonna say it's before Russell Wilson.
That's a good question. We got no idea, brother. I mean, do you think it's before Pete Carroll?
I'm not gonna say it's before Pete Carroll because it could be like week 1 or 2 or year 1 or 2 of Pete Carroll's reign.
Um,
A lot of round 500 seasons, 9-7. I'm back to 14. They still haven't. 13. No.
Their last. Oh, that's the 90s. Their last losing season was 2011. It
Okay.
was Pete
Yeah.
Carroll, and their quarterback was Tavarius Jackson,
Can't say I know.
who has a career record of 17-17, and has a touchdown to interception ratio of 39-35.
So he was a solid backup.
Maybe. Pete Carroll's first 2 seasons, they went under 500. Keep in mind they were 7-9, so it wasn't like.
Oh my God, he's terrible.
Wait, their first. Oh, in 2010 is when they went 7-9 and won the division. They had Matt Hasselbeck. Oh,
And that was the year the Seahawks. I believe that was the year that they played the Saints and Beast Mode just ran all over them in the wild card
um,
or divisional.
they lost to the Bears in the playoffs. Was this the year the Bears went to the Super Bowl? That would make sense, right? Oh, good old Jay Cutler, Matt Forte. What a roster. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find the
I don't know.
the playoffs. Wait, wild card. Here it is. Yeah, 41-36. Yeah, that was that game. That's funny. That is wonderful. Yeah, Marshawn
So
Lynch ran for 131 yards.
yeah. So Pete Carroll's good at coaching, and
Yeah,
the
I
Seahawks are
mean,
a good team.
and ever since Russell Wilson took over, they haven't had a losing season. So I think they go minimum 10, max 14, but I think they sit at 12. So
No, it's pretty impressive to say I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL and I've never had a losing season.
go out while you're ahead. Retire now. Let's go.
Please.
Uh,
This is the first year in a while that the Seahawks and the Falcons don't play each other, and I'm
oh,
grateful.
interesting. But we will jump to a team that I think is the most underrated, and that is the Arizona Cardinals. Their draft wasn't
Nothing flashy.
really. I think it was really good. It wasn't terrible, but they definitely. I don't know. Definitely needed to make probably some different moves, especially in the first round. I don't think going Zaven Collins at pick 16 was the right choice.
I mean, if they needed they needed linebackers, take whoever's best on the board.
I guess, but at pick 16, you leave on the board. You leave top cornerbacks in Caleb Farley, Greg Newsome. You leave Kwity Paye, who had the best rating by PFF in the preseason for a defensive player. You
Would have been a
leave
good cup.
Peyton Turner, Gregory Rousseau. I mean, JOK was still on the board. Asante Samuel, Kelvin Joseph. There's just a lot of players that I don't know if.
It feels like they drafted for depth more than anything else.
Which feels weird to do in the first round when you're not the Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Pretty much.
They're fortunate, though, that I think.
They had one of the better off seasons outside of the draft
I agree.
than any other team in the nation.
Definitely. I mean, bringing in JJ Watt is amazing.
The best move you can make.
Bringing in AJ Green would, in most situations, look like a bad idea. But in this one, where he's the number 2 now, I think is genius.
I mean, he has the wide receiver 1 potential. He's just never really done it outside of maybe one season at the Bengals.
Problem is, who else? They didn't really have anyone else to throw to, so they would just put like 7 guys on him.
That's fair.
And then like Hopkins, Green, Kirk. I'd say it's a top 10 trio.
I was going to say that's pushing for one of the best trios in the nation.
This team is similar on offense to the Seahawks, where I am worried about their running back situation. They have Chase Edmonds and James Conner, which James Conner had a great season when Bell held out, and then
Mhm.
since he's been
He's been a third down back, essentially.
non-existent slash I think he had a little bit of injury troubles. Chase Edmonds,
Again, I don't think he's done anything flashy ever.
he's ran
He's
for 900 yards over 3 years.
yeah. So they basically have 2 third down backs
They
who
definitely
are
need
gonna
someone
be
to step
split
up. I
carries.
think losing Kenyon Drake. I personally
That
really like
hurts.
Kenyon Drake. So I think
I love
losing
Kenny Drake.
him was not the smart decision. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if it was a contract issue or they just didn't like it. It wasn't a good fit. I no idea. But I think losing Kenyon Drake was probably not the smart thing. Um, so who knows? Hopefully they have a run game. I mean, I don't think they'll have any issues in the air. I think Kyler Murray is starting to understand the NFL really well and is
Yeah.
starting to excel. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I mean, it's
Do
his
you see between Chase Edmonds, James Conner, and Kyler Murray 1,500 yards on the ground this year?
how many yards did Kyler Murray run for last season? Let's check that out real quick before I give you. He
Because that
ran.
could be part of their
He
run
ran for.
game
He ran for
plan.
819. You're, if he matches that,
Oh, I didn't realize it was that high. I knew he ran a lot. I didn't think it was 800 yards.
yeah.
So if he does that and the 2 other running backs, I would hope 2 running backs combined can put up 1,000.
Honestly, they may hit 2,000 as a group
Yeah. I didn't realize Kyler Murray had run that much before saying
in
that.
16 games now out of 17, and maybe
Yeah.
he hits
We're gonna see so
900,
many
maybe a
records broken.
thousand. Yeah, it's gonna get weird. It's gonna be a weird thing with the 17th
Yeah.
game, but lose.
So as much as we harp on the running backs, I think Kyler Murray is part of the run game plan. They have designed runs for Kyler Murray,
I agree with that, but I think the problem is your quarterback shouldn't be your star running back. Like
No,
the Ravens, like Lamar Jackson, I'll be honest, is their star running back. He is their quarterback. He can throw the ball. I'm not calling him a running back. No one come after me. No one come after me. But when you look at the Ravens, you think Lamar Jackson is their best runner. And he is their best runner.
because he is, yeah.
In Arizona, right now, Kyler Murray is their best runner, in my opinion. I don't like that personally. If I was the coach of a team, I would not like my star runner to be a quarterback because I don't want my guy to be running so much that he gets injured.
Which we've seen happen time and time again.
And Kyler Murray is tiny. So
Yeah,
I just have injury fear because he ran 133 times last season.
that's so much for especially for a quarterback.
That means he was rushing like 8 to 9 times a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
He runs a third. He runs 1 out of 4 times, passes the other 3.
I don't know. I think they should still use him at like in run plays. Like don't take that away from
Yeah.
him, but just
No,
they need to be careful.
dial it down.
They need to be careful and not overdo it and get him injured. Um, but I think on defense, I don't think their defense is a problem.
No,
Honestly,
especially not with their offseason pickups, J.J. Watt, Malcolm Butler.
the only thing that I with this team, there's two issues. One of them is not really an issue, but the thing that's going to stop them from winning this division slash being a Super Bowl team is they don't have a running back that can basically take over the game, and Kyler Murray is still young.
Okay,
That's what the second one is not really an issue, but is an issue. You know what I mean?
so I didn't know this. This is an article that was written 2.5 hours ago. Malcolm Butler retired.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, then. Never mind then about my Malcolm Butler statement.
They apparently it's not
It's not official,
it's
but
not
they added him
official.
to the team retired list.
Yeah, he's going through a personal situation. So,
Hmm. Okay.
but I still think on defense, I mean, J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, David Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Buda
They
Baker,
still have a
Robert
scary
Alford.
offense or scary defense. Scary offense too,
I,
but a scary defense.
I think the only issues with this team that I have are Kyler Murray is still young, which again isn't like a crazy issue,
Not
right?
a
Like
bad.
this is just you're gonna see with young quarterbacks. You see, unlike Mahomes, because Mahomes is I don't count Mahomes as a young quarterback because he's playing like he's been in the NFL for 10 years. With young quarterbacks, you see errors that established veterans do not make,
Yes.
and sometimes that will cost them games.
And that's just experience. It's not a knock against Kyler Murray at all.
That is the only downside I see to Kyler Murray right now. Like I think he can throw the ball really efficiently. They had fears that he was too short, and two he couldn't get a lot of like force behind the ball because of his size. But I see no issues with his throwing. Obviously, there's no issues with his running. He ran for 800 yards.
Yeah.
It's just now it's just like getting better at what he already knows. That's it. That's it for Kyler Murray. And also
And
hoping his team can bring in a running back.
the best comparison for him is he is a younger, smaller Russell Wilson.
100%.
Like almost spitting image.
If he continues to grow the way he is, when Russell Wilson retires, we will say the same thing about Kyler Murray in 5 to 10 years that we have been saying about Russell Wilson.
For the last 5 years and further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
I will say if Kyler Murray over the next couple years ends up being super successful in the NFL, being a dual threat quarterback, we'll have Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Dak's kind of in the same vein. Will we start seeing more and more and more dual threat quarterbacks come out? Because they're everywhere in college.
I think it takes the right coach to make it work because
Yes.
you have to find a balance between it, right? Like in college, I mean, the quarterbacks are running
All the time.
an absurd amount.
Yeah.
And they're also much faster. Like Lamar Jackson, oh my gosh, in college. I mean, sometimes he still makes it look like he's in college with how quick he's running by guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
But in college, I mean, there were plays where he'd hit the second level, and I mean, all of a sudden, it's like
He's gone, turned it on.
he's like 20 yards down the field already. So I think it's a lot of factors that go into it. I personally would much rather. See, I was gonna say I'd much rather draft a pocket quarterback, but
I want the dual threat.
I was gonna say having a dual threat guy just opens up so many things.
Well, it turns a broken play into a completely different play. And if they can take all those pockets that collapse, say the pocket collapses 1 out of 5 plays, of those collapsed pockets, they have the opportunity to still make positive yards, if not more. Because how many times have we seen a pocket collapse and a quarterback scramble for 25 yards or further?
Yeah.
Just because nobody understands what's happening until it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or even just design run plays with the quarterback.
I don't know, man. It's such a tough decision.
I would like a dual threat quarterback as long as they understand the danger that there is in running. Like, please, for the love of God, slide.
They need to understand that, and they also need to understand, like, throw first. You are a quarterback.
You are a throw first player, regardless.
We will have designed run plays for you, but on this play, when we call this play, you're passing. If it doesn't work, run. We're cool with that.
The biggest fear is Kyler Murray. Oh, DeAndre Hopkins is covered. I'm running. That you can't have that mentality.
He needs to go through his progression.
Exactly.
He needs to go 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. He's got to go through it, and then if it's not there, the nice thing for him is he can use his legs, like you said. So, but I think this team is the most underrated because everyone talks about the Rams. They talk about the Seahawks. They talk about the 49ers. And then it's like, Oh
We're here
yeah,
too.
the Cardinals are in this division. Oh, okay. Well, good for them.
Okay, well, with that said, let's look at the schedule and where do you put them?
Uh, this division
Because
is.
they have the same potential as the 49ers to go 12-5 or 5-12.
I'm not even gonna give you an over under because I'm just gonna go straight and give you. I think this team gets. I'm gonna shoot high on this team because I think they do pull it off. I think they go 11.
Wow.
I think the Cardinals go 11-6 this season.
No.
I think the West sends. I think the West sends 3 teams
Ooh.
to the playoffs because the NFC East is not sending 2. Let's be real here. I don't think they send 2.
I'd be surprised if the NFC South sent two.
I, and then the NFC North, I would. Someone's gonna have to send 2.
Somebody, two are going to have to send two. No, I guess
No.
if one division, all four make, but yeah.
If one division 3 make, there's just one extra wild card spot. So just
Yeah.
So I think the West sends 3. I think the Cardinals make the playoffs.
It being the Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks.
At the same time, this whole division could make the playoffs, right? Like this is
Yes.
this is how talented this division is. All 4 could make playoffs. I don't think they do.
If I have to pick one division to send all four teams, it's either going to be the AFC West or the NFC West.
Yes. The Broncos better get it together for that one, but yes.
They have the best shot because
Yes.
of the rest of the teams in that
Yeah.
division. I give the Cardinal. I'm not as high as the Cardinals, if that hasn't already been obvious. I think they'll be very close to, but just below the 49ers at like 7-8 wins. That's not to say they couldn't go 11-5, 6, whatever, 17, 11-6. But I don't think that they'll do it.
I don't know, man. Something about this team.
I would love to see it.
The Cardinals and the Chargers, if I had to pick a team from each conference, the Cardinals and the Chargers are my most excited teams to watch this season. Outside of my team, obviously. Like I want my team to win. But then if I had to root for someone else, it'd be the Cardinals and the Chargers.
I will say in this division, it does definitely feel like the Rams have a lot of hype. The Seahawks have a lot of hype. The 49ers have a lot of hype. Cardinals are just kind of vibing.
Yeah. They're chilling. They're hanging out. Which I think plays into like a strength, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
If no one's talking about you, maybe you get together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm high on them. I think they're honestly Kyler Murray getting more experience. They get him them getting a solid running back, and then maybe another offensive lineman and a couple more defensive pieces. Not like crazy defensive pieces, but just like some more depth. I think this team within the next 5 years can reach the Super Bowl. Easy. Hands down.
Couple things to figure out, but yeah.
Yeah. I think 11, you said 7-8, right?
7-8, yeah.
Ugh, that hurts. That hurts me.
Just under 500.
That hurts. Let's talk about the wonderful Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford finally has a team.
Finally has a team with receivers and blocking and a defense.
Here's what happens with Stafford. He either shows everyone what he's always done, and with this team, he goes on to win 15 games, and you're like, Stafford just needed a team.
Yeah.
Or Stafford has too many weapons and doesn't know how to do it.
Gets overwhelmed.
And goes 5-12.
This whole division, outside of I think the Seahawks are the only team that will 100% go above 500.
I also really personally don't like Sean McVay as a coach. I think after his first season with Goff, and he was doing that weird style of offense, and it was working because no one's ever seen it. I think he tries to innovate too much
Mm-hmm.
in a league that doing the basics right works.
Works the best.
Like I understand trying to innovate. I get it. You want to be different. You want to catch people, on their toes, catch them off guard, whatever it is. But doing that too often will backfire because you're putting up to chance too often. And I think that's the issue with this team. I think that is the downside to this team, is that they will try to do too much on offense. I honestly don't like their weak point on offense is a running back, which is weird because it's the third team in a row. It never happens.
Yeah.
I don't think their defense is weak.
I mean, since Todd Gurley, I guess, is the last
Todd
good running
Gurley,
back they've
Steven
had.
Jackson.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, their defense is great.
they might. I think on paper. I think I'm going to say this. I think on paper they have the best team in the division. It is a close win over the 49ers on paper. I think this division on paper goes on paper. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals.
On paper, yes. Yeah.
With just the players. And then you add in the coaching, and then the Seahawks go like way. Yeah. Like way too high. Like they're way up there.
For whatever reason, I don't have much to say about the Rams. They're solid on both sides of the ball. They should put up a good season, assuming Matthew Stafford is, like you said, who we think Matthew Stafford is. Now he won't have to have that. He won't be on a team that goes 6-11 because he had to come back and win all 6 of those games in the fourth quarter.
Lions wins 6. Fourth quarter comebacks for Matthew Stafford this season 6. You're like,
Exactly.
Wow.
So hopefully, I'm not to say, because he'll be in those situations still. That doesn't just go away because he's at a different team now. But he has the opportunity to maintain leads and not fight for leads now.
Yeah.
I love Matthew Stafford.
I feel so bad for him. He's never had a team. This man has
And
never
yet,
had a team.
and yet he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league by stats. A lot of those stats are probably garbage time stats.
I just want to see him succeed.
Oh, yes. Love Matthew Stafford.
That man has been through it all. I think he's been through like 4 or 5 coaches in Detroit. Now he's on a new coach and a new system and a new city and a new team and a new whatever. And I just want to see him succeed.
He's got to be hungry. He's got to be hungry, though. Excited.
The crazy part is, this is his 12th season. I thought he's played more than that.
No, he came in right around the same time Matt Ryan did. I think the same year Matt Ryan did, 2008.
He came in 2009.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems like Matthew Stafford's been around for so long.
It's because we always hear about him. He's always doing something.
I feel like he still has. Honestly, I could see him running this division for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now the question is, do they keep him for 5 years? Because
I would.
They would need to, because they don't have a first round pick for the 2022 draft or the 2023 draft.
I think that's worth it. They didn't have one in the 2021 draft either.
Yeah, they lost all 3 of those first round picks to get Stafford.
Yeah.
Dude, the Rams have not had a first round pick in like 3 years. So
2 to go. But it's okay.
For
They
now,
got an extra 7th round pick.
For now, they don't have a first round pick for 2 years. And all of a sudden, when we get to the end of 2023, they're going to trade for someone else and be without one for their 4 years.
What'll happen is they'll win the Super Bowl in 2023, and then they'll finally get a first round pick, and it'll be the 32nd pick.
And they'll trade it away because it's the 32nd pick.
Because it's the 32nd pick.
I don't know. It's hard to really talk about this team because They're just a good team, and they
They're a good
finally
team.
have. I think the biggest thing with this team is, did they win the Stafford Goff trade? They gave up 3 first-round picks. You have to keep that in mind. So you have to take in just, is Stafford worth 3 picks, 3 first-round picks over Goff?
Yes, I think so.
I thought there was gonna be a but to that sentence, and you
I
just
was gonna say another way you could look at it is the Rams season compared to Detroit season, but we already know Detroit season is gonna end up with at best 3 wins. And if the Rams only have 3 wins, they better clean house.
I mean, and they're gonna have so many first-round picks. They're gonna live for a while. They better make them worthwhile. I don't
Yeah.
know, man. The Rams, I think their weak point
I'm
is their running back.
yeah. And they don't have a dual threat quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So they're really gonna be hurting on the run game this year.
Like, getting Sony Michel is fine and all, but Sony Michel's not like,
You can't expect him to put up 1,500 yards this year.
he's not a running back. That was a weird sentence.
He's great at blocking and he's great at catching
He
passes
is
out of the
a
backfield.
receiving back, and like, Darrell Henderson has 700 yards over 2 seasons. Like, they don't have someone in that locker room, in that running back room, who's been a consistent guy, a consistent runner, right? So I think that's their weak point, honestly. If they can get some sort of run, like, the thing about this team too is they don't need a running back to come in and put up 1,800 yards. They just need someone to move the chains when it's needed. That's it. I know it sounds really simple, but sometimes teams just do not understand how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, whenever you're playing in a division where now you have to go up against JJ Watt, you have to go up against the Seahawks front four, you have to go up against Bosa and the rest of his crew. I mean, how do you not want? And even if you're on the Rams, you'd have to go up against Aaron Donald and his crew. Like, how do none of these teams have a standout running back?
I
Raheem
don't.
Mostert might be the best running back in this league
He
or
is
in
the
this
best.
division.
He is the best running back in this division, and it sucks
And
because I don't think he's like a top 10 running back.
yeah, great player, great athlete, but running back is not.
Like,
How, you
how do all of these teams not do this? Like, I
and
don't
all
get
these
it.
teams have a stacked defense. You know, 6 of your games guaranteed are going to be up against teams that don't allow rushing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. This team, I'm looking forward to seeing the Rams play with Stafford, and I think it'll turn out well. Like, I'll leave it at that.
You said you're most excited about the Cardinals. I'm more excited about the Rams and Matthew Stafford.
I think I'm excited about the Cardinals because no one's expecting them to do well, but with the
Well, yeah.
Rams, we are expecting it, right? Like, over. What do you think? I'll let you go first on the Rams with their schedule. It's a tough one.
I mean, of course, there's the easy games, like we said before, Detroit, Houston. They should definitely win those.
They have Tampa Bay
Again,
though.
they have Tampa, which is not great for them. Um, we've been using the Colts as a comparison. You said it's like 65-35 for the Seahawks, 50-50 for the 49ers. I give them like 60-40 in the Rams' favor against the Colts. Maybe 65-35 because it is super early in the season. I give them conservative 11.
I give them 12.
Yeah.
This division is about to be so top heavy. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
They legitimately could all 4 teams be above 500
Mm-hmm. With all 4 making the playoffs.
with all 4 making the playoffs. So we'll go ahead and I guess wrap up the division. My 4 is going to be I'm going to do 2 because there's a more probable one that I think will really happen, and there are one that could happen and that I want to happen.
No. Just we'll do our probable one first.
Okay.
I want to go probable to probable, and then you can tell me after your fun one.
What could happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
Probable Seahawks win 1, Rams 2, 49ers Cardinals. What's that look for?
We're gonna be big different.
Oh, I wonder if your expected is my fun one.
So I think it goes Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers.
Okay.
I think it goes 12, 12, 11, 9.
9. Yeah. So it's interesting that my fun one was going to be Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals.
The 49ers at 2?
Yes.
Well, that would be fun.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
No. My fun one would be the Cardinals at 1 with 13 wins, and then the rest of the division at 5 wins. I'm just kidding.
Is this a Madden league?
The Cardinals went 17-0.
God.
Yeah. We gave our prediction for this division, and obviously we didn't have a single team in the same spot. Like my 1-2 was different from your 1-2.
It's the only time.
It's the only division we've had completely different. But the crazy part is it could be flipped completely.
It literally all 4 of these teams could be 1 or 4. And that could be because they have a bad season or the other 3 teams are just that good.
These teams could tie. It won't happen. Okay, this will never happen. They could tie at a max of 14-3.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something stupid like these teams could go 9-2-6, tie all the divisional games.
Brother, man. No, it's just if they all go to the division 3-3 and then win all the other games, then they go 14-3. They all have the capabilities. All teams in this division have the capabilities to win 14 games.
Yes.
You had to think for a second.
Oh, I was about to say it's going to be harder for some of these teams, like the Rams. They have to play Tampa Bay.
Well, they have the talent to beat anyone, but
yes.
do they? That's the real yeah. I think this division will be the most exciting. If I'll put it this way, there's those graphs that you see that show like it'll put the 4 teams and then as it goes like left to right, it'll move them up and down as they're like
where their placement
is. This will be the division I think has the most. Yeah, it'll just like a wave.
Yeah,
I think this will be the most moved division in terms of division placements. So, but friends, that wraps it up.
Easily the most exciting division.
100%. 100%. I like 120%. But that will wrap it up for our division reviews as we just finished the NFC West. But before we go, Eddie, give me that fun fact. What's my number for today?
So the one that I have written there, obviously it's in 1-point font, so neither of us can read it. I'm actually not going to go with that one because that's not as fun as I thought it was. The one that is there was 20-0, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it before. The Ravens have not lost a preseason game in like 5 years or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, but meh, not as fun as, let's see. It's going to be a record, and I got to do the math on it real quick. 114 and 110.
Is this the record of the coach, Jeff Fisher?
No. That'd be 70 and 90.
No, I think it would be like 80 and 80.
114, 110.
Is this... that's a lot of games. 224? What could this be?
Yes.
What could this be? What could this be? Who would go basically 500? Who would... 14 years. Who's been in the league for 14 years? Is it a coach?
It is a coach.
The coach. Okay, so what coach? It's got to be Jeff Fisher. 114 and 110. Who is a coach that would be really good at going 500? All the Cowboys coaches. Okay.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't know. He may have coached for the Cowboys at one point, but he was never a head coach for the Cowboys. I don't know if he's been a coach for the Cowboys though.
114 to 110. It's a coach. They've basically gone 500 over 14 years. Are they still a coach?
They are a current coach in the NFL. Yes,
Are they
current head coach
They're a current head
in the
coach.
NFL.
Okay. So who's been around for 14 years? Who's really bad at their job?
Really average at their job.
What coaches have been around for so long? There's no way this is Mike McCarthy.
No,
Okay.
he's been the head coach of 2 different teams.
2 different teams.
If I give you any more, I'm gonna start going into the facts.
So it's not going to be the Titans coach. It's not going to be the Jaguars coach. Not the Colts coach. I just need to pull up the divisions on my screen. So it's
Just
not.
start going through all of them.
It's not the Texans, Colts, Jags, or Titans. The Broncos. No. The Chiefs. Is it
If you're
Andy
gonna go,
Reid?
it is not Andy Reid. I'll go into this. He has head coached 2 different teams in 3 different cities. So that should narrow it down a little bit.
Is it Gruden?
It's Gruden.
Is Gruden in the Las Vegas Raiders?
So why this record is fun? He's been total head coach. He was at the Bucks for 7 years.
Yep.
He has now been at the Raiders for a total of 7 years because he did a couple years in the 90s. He has gone 57 and 55 at both teams.
John Gruden
He's gone.
with the Raiders.
I thought he was a little bit better than that.
Well,
Apparently not.
I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the Bucks with Brad Johnson as his quarterback.
Who?
I mean, he was lucky to have Warren Sapp and John Lynch on his defense.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
But yeah, Brad Johnson was his quarterback. Man, 114 and 110, both 57 and 55. That's
It'll change because he's still got 7 years left on his his Raiders contract.
No, it was a 10-year, $100 million.
Yeah, so he's still got like 7 years left.
Oh, because the time was split. That's right. Because he did Oakland a long time ago. Not.
Wait, no, I thought his 10-year contract was this contract. So 10 years from when he was signed to the Oakland Raiders in 2018, 19. That's what I thought. Not 10 total years.
Gruden contract. I forgot what I was trying to search. In 2018,
yeah.
100. Yeah, so he's been there for. This is his 3rd year. He has 8 years left. No, wait, 2018, 2019,
2020.
Oh, he's
got 7 years left. Okay.
Man, they're stuck with him for 7 more years. Also, is it all guaranteed?
I don't know, but he has a no trade clause.
Who trades coaches?
Don't know. There's something in there I saw. I'm gonna see if I can find it, or we can go ahead and wrap up, and then I'll dig into this.
Dude, $100 million for 10 years.
I'll take 10 mil a year.
I think he's overpaid. Imagine
he's only 500.
Imagine me saying a coach is overpaid. How did we get here?
Anyway.
Yeah. That will end it, though, friends, for episode 41 of the Memes, Streams, and 32 Teams podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Memes32Teams. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Memes, Streams, 32 Teams. We are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central on Twitch, twitch.tv/Memes, Streams, 32 Teams. We stream all our episodes, and we hang out with you guys in the chat after the episode. But yeah, it's fantasy football season, so make sure to send us your teams. We'll rate them. We'll tell you what you messed up on and why you're not very smart.
Why we think that.
Well,
and then you can prove us wrong when you win.
Yeah, we'll give you insight. It could be right, could be wrong, probably wrong. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, listening. We will see you guys next week. Next week is going to be a long episode. Keep in mind, it is 2 days before the start of the season, so it's going to be a lot of predictions, a lot of exciting stuff that we have.
Spoilers.
So yeah, we will see you guys. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week for episode 42, which will be our 2021 season
Predictions
prediction.
review. Not review.
Upcoming. I don't know how to, whatever. I don't know. We'll see you guys next time.
Football's here.
Bye, guys. Peace.